Welcome to Pat Sherlock's podcast series, interviews with top mortgage sales leaders. Learn practical tips for improving sales management results. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. This is Pat Sherlock, and welcome to the podcast. Today's topic is getting loan officers to go digital. I have the perfect expert, David Ocasio Ross, who is AVP at Mortgage Sales at AmeriCU. David has a long history within the credit union industry in business development, sales, and management. Hi, David.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Great. Well, this is such an important topic, but before we really jump into it, let's talk about how did you get into the world of mortgage banking?
Absolutely. Honestly, I started with AmeriCU on May 4th. So I remember that because it's Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. But yes, May 4th of 2022, and that was my intro into mortgage banking. And honestly, I fell in love with the opportunity. Up until that time, I already had a decade's worth of experience in branch banking, sales, management, business, and relationship development. So this proposed a new challenge for me that I was certainly intrigued at taking head on. I spoke to our senior vice president of mortgage lending. I knew it was going to be a great fit for my skill set. And as a bonus, the organization is just aligned and truly amazing in terms of how they prioritize their members through service. And that's exactly what I've prided myself on professionally and personally. So I think all the chips fell where they may. And here we are a year later.
Well, that's a great comment that you're making. So you're relatively new into our space for sure, but it is an interesting and complex business. And I think that not enough people recognize that it's probably, I think, in the consumer market, really one of the best industries for sure.
Absolutely. I'd agree 100%. Being that my experience was primarily through other avenues of consumer lending with
Sure.
loans, auto loans, credit cards, home equities, having this opportunity to lead an awesome, diverse team, helping our membership make the most important purchase of their lives, it's an amazing opportunity, but it's so rewarding in that respect. So yeah, absolutely. Very, very new to it, but learning every day. So that's for sure a benefit.
Well, talk about the challenges as the sales leader in the current position. What are the ones that you're facing this year?
It really depends on how you look at it. I think the current market and all the changes that have taken place in the year, I've been here alone, present a challenge or two, but, certainly not only learning the role, but also learning the industry. So it's prompted a higher level of creativity for myself while prioritizing, true business development principles. We've had to make sure we got creative and take a genuine approach to doing business. So it really just all goes back to our ability as individuals and as an organization to know our people, know who we're doing business with, our ability to put ourselves in their shoes and be a resource, and most importantly, educate.
Well, when you look at the trends in mortgage banking, even though you're new to our world, what do you see as an important trends for the rest of the year?
Oh, well, it's certainly some scary times, as we're seeing some shops close, some longtime professionals leaving the industry. I'm certainly looking for some stability from a rate standpoint. With all the hikes that have taken place, projections do highlight a potential dip, which would revamp some purchase interest while presenting some opportunities for refis for those that purchased at 7% and up. So I've got my eyes peeled for that for myself and my team.
So when you look at this year, which has been volatile for sure, so welcome to our world, what changes have you had to make in your managing?
I am very thankful that I think a lot of where I came from between business development and sales and management, a lot of those skill sets carried over well into this role. And truly, I just, expect what I expect at this point. Management to me is far deeper than just the title or the delegation. It's an opportunity to get your hands dirty, go through the trenches with your team. So, I certainly take pride in that. I've have strengths with my team that I've benefited from. I've been able to learn from my team, some longtime players in the industry that are here at AmeriCU, 28 years and counting. So I'm thankful I've been able to learn from them. It's turned into a bit of a great partnership with a common goal fueled by our drive to make homeownership a reality for as many people as possible.
We'll talk about, and this I think is a great entry into our topic today, about getting loan officers to use digital. And of course, this
Yeah.
is a topic that many sales leaders face every single day. And it's really difficult because some loan officers haven't had to use it. Talk about how you handle this issue.
Oh yeah. I'm thankful that I have a very, very motivated team that certainly want to exceed and do more and be the best possible mortgage loan officer that they can be. I think when we talk about going digital and the platforms that are available for us to utilize, it's really opportunistic. And a big part of that is just getting them to see the vision, see the why behind it. I have been thankful to be able to lead by example in that regard. I've personally made a few videos that I like to point out that they work when I don't. We look at how frequently Facebook is utilized, Instagram is utilized, even TikTok these days are utilized. And, when are popular times to be able to use these platforms. And you realize that it's before dinner, it's right after dinner, it's after our 8 to 4:30 or 9 to 5, so to speak. So when you're putting some content out there now, whether that's sharing a listing, being able to bring attention to a matter such as what the average cost of rent would equate to from a mortgage perspective in terms of a pre-qualification, that's content that people will be watching long after you clock out. So that's been our biggest takeaway here at AmeriCU and with my sales team. And we've seen some great results thus far with some of the stuff that we've been putting out there.
So talk about, David, this issue about the loan officers that resist. Do you enforce that they have to do that, or you just try to encourage them to do it?
Oh, it most certainly has to be an encouragement piece. I think when you look at those that have been in the industry for years, for a very long time, they have experience. They've built up their sphere of influence. They've built up, such a reputation that is, truly geared toward their professionalism, their ability to get things done, and who they are as mortgage loan officers. So this, for me is great encouragement for them to be able to see where the benefit lies in utilizing social media to also gain additional leads. A big part of what I highlight is the ability to sit here and take advantage of the shared pieces of your content. If you have a video like myself that, I put something out there and it got shared recently like 13 or 14 times, right? That's 13 and 14 lists of people that you don't know. That's 13 and 14 people that could be all over the state, all over the US and beyond. That's content that is flooding into somebody else's feed to be able to sit here and really take the most from it. So it's seed planting. And I think that's been the biggest selling point for me and why I've gotten a lot of traction from my team this far through encouragement. It's seed planting, and truly when it does result in something, depends on how efficient you do it and how you're able to sit here and stick with it throughout. I'm not saying that you got to post every day, but it's certainly worthwhile to sit here and utilize that platform to go ahead and get the word out there.
So how do you handle the loan officers that may not want to do it? In other words, is it okay, or is it something you're showing your activity yourself, but there's certainly people that really are hesitant to do it for all kinds of reasons. It could be because they're fearful, because they don't know how to do it. How do you handle the loan officers that resist?
Oh, you've got to find the why. There's a reason for all. So you have to find out why they're resisting first and foremost. It could be a confidence thing. It could be a lack of comfort. Could be a combination of both. But you have to find out the why to be able to, accurately assess what your next steps are. So for our team, specifically, I've noticed that our newbies, for example, have some very green staff here that are very hungry, very motivated, and they'll do just about anything to sit here and get the word out there as to what they do and who they are and why a consumer should choose them and AmeriCU. So that type of hunger, it varies with the skill level. And if you have somebody that's really not used to it, it does, I think, in my opinion, take a little bit of hand holding. But like I said, it's for myself, it's been being able to lead by example in that regard, put some things out there myself to be able to show what I've gotten as a return on investment, the leads that I've been able to sit here and take in and really spread the word out, and how I'm able to address these in real time with the team members that are a little bit more hesitant is what I've been utilizing to, kind of sway a vote there.
So, David, when you're looking at and you're interviewing potential loan officers, is that a question that you are including in your interview sequence to see people's receptivity of being on video? Because it does seem as if obviously realtors are on video all day long, and mortgage people have certainly have been hesitant to do it. Do you look for that in the interview process?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to. You've got it. It is 2023. We're halfway through almost in June, and just the times that exist now really call for a presence in multiple capacities. Yes, I think that the ways of old, so to speak, in terms of those business development characteristics, being able to sit here and knock on someone's door, cold calling, that'll never go away. And I think that'll truly be effective in different capacities. But when we look at what social media does, like I said, it really just it works when we're not. It allows us to get in front of other audiences that otherwise we may not be able to get in front of. So I certainly do test that in the interview process. I highlight the activity. I certainly do my research beforehand as well, just to see if they've got it going on right now, or is there room for improvement, how active they are with it between LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, anything that I can find. Yeah, it's certainly brought up for sure.
Well, I think it is an important question that I don't think enough managers ask. And one of the things that I think that they should do, and certainly what I tell my clients, is that I would be looking to see how many connections they have on social selling channels. And if they have none, I think that's an early warning sign that that's someone that has chosen not to have any. And I certainly see it with students, as some of them, a lot of them actually, it doesn't seem as if it's a generational issue. It's more along the lines of, for whatever reason, they don't see the business benefit for it. Do you track how much loans that you might get from it, or is there some way that you have a metric?
Yeah, I do myself. Like I said, in terms of just being able to lead by example,
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to sit here and track exactly how many referrals or conversations I've had that have resulted from anything that I put out regarding what I do, regarding what
Sure.
my team does, regarding the why, why we're here. You truly have to, I feel like in today's day and age, it can't be something that's long, we're not putting out 5-10 minute videos. I think we're really just kind of trying to minimize it for 2 or 3 minutes or under, and touching base on the key things like the rising cost of rent here in the U.S., what that would translate to from a pre-approval perspective, or looking at who we are. It's another thing I've encouraged my team is to promote yourself, get personal.
Sure.
We have to sit here and be able to highlight what we do and who we are outside of these walls too. People should know that outside of the mortgage world, I'm a father to a 10-year-old, and I also coach girls basketball, and I take pride in that. And I think when we think about what that does, it really humanizes who we are for our audience. We're not just pushing sales, we're also promoting ourselves.
Mhm.
So it's most certainly important. And I think that when we look at how to track it, it all depends on how active we are in it. I put a couple of things out a week, but the referrals that I've been able to get personally are in the double digits at this point. So that has been a great talking point with my team, and it's really gotten some of them on board with this social media aspect.
So do you envision, and maybe in the next few years, that if a loan officer, at this point, some loan officers use it, others don't. I would still say a majority of them don't. So do you see that that's going to be a disqualifier for someone being hired, or even someone to hold their job, because it's such an important component of selling today?
I don't know about a disqualifier. When you think about how long some of these professionals have been in the industry,
Mhm.
you're taking a look at what their annual production looks like. How busy have you been?
Mhm.
What have you done? Is there a growth that you've been able to sit here and sustain before COVID, during COVID, even after COVID?
Mhm.
Have you been able to keep business consistent? I think as we look at what it's like going forward and what's next, that's a conversation that we certainly have to have if we're going to bring you on board, or it's certainly something that leaders should consider, because we want to make sure that they're open to new things. The mortgage sales, the mortgage industry is far more than just your basics, your application input. It's about building a relationship. It's about, sustaining something that lasts long term. It's about being able to not only I don't want to just help you. I want to help your mom. I want to help your,
Sure.
your sister. I want that to be a generational approach that truly highlights top tier service. And, how are we able to get that out there? Social media is certainly a great way to start. It's all promotion. It's in itself, and it's free. That's the best part.
Yeah. Talk about this whole issue of, again, you show by example because you're doing it, but what are the easy steps of getting a hesitant loan officer, the initial steps of what they need to do to try this and to actually see it does work? What are the things that you've done?
Oh, I think it really, like I said, goes back to just getting to know who you are, getting to know who they are, finding the parallels between yourself in terms of leadership and who you're coaching. So that way, how to make a lasting impression within your coaching sessions, how you build up a way to sway a vote there. More importantly, I think after you're really able to highlight some similarities and some benefits, you start small. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you putting yourself in front of a camera for a 2 to 3 minute video. It could start off with just a mere photo, an edited photo that, highlights a great caption, you pointing to something in the photo that highlights the caption, and then you typing up a paragraph or two that summarizes a talking point. This is Talking Point Tuesday. This is Wow Wednesday. This is a flashback Friday to when mortgages were 14%, and that's when my mom closed. And so let's put that in perspective as to where we're at now and where we're going. There's creativity that can come from it, but I truly believe it really the success has come from being able to challenge them and kind of putting the accountability on the team. Also, what also helps is being able to highlight other successes from others within the team, because I think that in a way it definitely does light a competitive fire underneath for those that are having a little bit of a struggle making that switch. But you got to be able to hold their hand through it. It is a big change, but once they see the benefit and they get more comfortable and they realize that it's not just one take in terms of a perfect video. I've taken 14 takes, 16 takes, sometimes 20. And, it's very easy to get in your head there, but you got to take a kind approach to it. Get to know exactly who you are. Get to know what are some great talking points to highlight. What are you passionate about? You can put that all on video and really resonate to somebody that may not believe home ownership is within reach for them. There's still a large majority of people that think that you still need 20% down as a first-time home buyer. Not the case. Educate, take the time, but it's all about passion. It's all about purpose. As long as you understand the purpose and you're both on the same page there, it's a little bit easier to go ahead and map out what the next steps are.
Well, David, we could go on for hours about this, but we only have a few minutes left. So why don't you give a couple takeaways for our listeners today?
Oh, absolutely. I think 2 words for any listeners would be just why not, right? Why not give it a shot? Why not give it a try? Don't be afraid to lead by example and get your hands dirty with the rest of your team, because I think it really does, set a precedence for others to follow. If that means that you yourself are also, overcoming some adversity or discomfort in doing so, if anything, to me, that just shows that you're able to humanize yourself and put yourself at the same level. I tell my team, we're partners, so we're doing this together, and social media is no different. It's a change that's most certainly needed, but don't be afraid to get in there and get your hands dirty and make sure that, everyone's on board with it and they see the benefit. But that comes a lot easier with being able to do it yourself as well.
Well, David, they're words of wisdom for sure. And I want to thank you for sharing them. And I want to thank my listeners certainly today. I appreciate you spending time with us. Thanks so much, David.
And I appreciate you having me. It's always great talking with you and working with you. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. We appreciate you spending time with us. If your sales team needs training in hiring and lead generation, schedule a free consultation by emailing me at psherlock@qfsconsulting.com.